Please welcome the co-chair of the 2015 annual celebration, my good friend Karen Healy.
Thank you, Daniel. Good evening, everyone. Congratulations to our Young Industry Award recipients and to all of the others who have been honored tonight for their service and their support. Our final presentation this evening is for the prestigious Industry Leadership Award to Mr. Sergio Marchionne of Fiat Chrysler Automobiles. Now, the great thing about introducing people who really don't need an introduction is there's no need for me to stand here and read what's probably a very long bio. Instead, I get the honor of speaking to why a person means so much to an organization, to an industry, and tonight to us. Sergio Marchionne is an often fiery but always visionary leader with the extraordinary ability to not just guide his own company, but to also influence others. He's tireless, selfless, humble, and seemingly interested only in the betterment of his company and in the communities in which he operates around the world. Under his leadership, FCA has garnered a following not only for its new and dynamic vehicles, but close to rock star status for the edgy wow of commercials, enlisting the help of people as diverse as Eminem and Clint Eastwood. He's built alliances, forged partnerships, led comebacks, surprised the doubters, and passionately driven his company forward. All of those are leadership characteristics that we value in those who work so hard to help young people get excited and stay involved in science, math, and technical fields. And we believe we have a great ambassador for that cause and our honored guest and recipient of the 2015 SAE Industry Leadership Award, Mr. Sergio Marchionne.
I'm not sure that I deserve the words that I just heard describing me, and as is typical in these functions, I've been given a script to follow. I think most people inside Fiat Chrysler are worried about what I may say if I'm not properly scripted. And so just to make their life really horrible, I'm going to go off script and speak to you without notes. This has been an incredible evening. I've been sitting here, I came in, I had an opportunity to spend some time with children who were incredibly diligent in explaining to me their aha moments. I had a young lady that read this wonderful book to me and she was really, really keen into really interested in what she was doing, and I was doing really well. I was really getting incredibly enthusiastic with the level of commitment that the foundation has promoted throughout certainly the United States and, as I understand, Canada, until Randy came up here and started talking about the fact that Kia once again market share. And that has thrown me into sort of severe mood convulsions, and as you can see from my standing here almost speechless, it's going to take me a while to recover. But I'm going to make a couple of comments about the foundation, and in particular about the work that some of our people have been doing in connection with the foundation. I mean, I cannot say enough about what the foundation has done, and especially in connection with the STEM initiatives. We have we have nurtured these activities within our group even through our difficult times. We continue to remain at the side of the foundation in support of what it does. And we wholeheartedly share in all the things that were said tonight about the importance of these initiatives for the future of this country, but also for the future, in particular, of the automotive industry, which I think is going to face some daunting challenges going forward. I'm going to talk to you about one thing in particular, which has caused some consternation in the automotive circles. You described my behavior as somewhat fiery from time to time. That may have been an understatement, certainly in connection with the last round of comments that I've made publicly about our industry. But I was fortunate enough, I'm not one of the oldest serving leaders of the automotive industry. I know you find this hard to believe. But I've been in this business now. I'm beginning my 12th year as the CEO of an automotive company, and it doesn't say much about an industry which has churned over CEOs at the speed. And so I'm claiming seniority, and I'm going to tell you a couple of things about what I've been able to observe over the last 12 years, and certainly things that have been the residue of a relatively long career. I'm fortunate enough to sort of now face the last stage of my professional career. I think what happens in the next few years will be the conclusion of a career which has taken me across the world over 30 years now, and which has allowed me to take a look at businesses across a variety of industries and really trying to understand their dynamics. And one of the things that has always driven everything I've done is a very clear recognition that I just will not accept, and that we should not accept with resignation, the fact that things are the way they are. I had an opportunity to meet a fellow CEO a while back who told me that he is surrounded by leaders and inundated by pleas from his leadership that keep on claiming that things just cannot be done in a particular way. And he has made a deal with his leadership that says, I'll listen to you for 6 hours about why things cannot get done as long as you give me half an hour to try and convince you of why things can, which I think is a fair trade. And I think we are now facing an incredible moment in the history of, certainly of the automotive industry on a global scale. We have recovered well from a horrible crisis back in 08, 9, and 10, which has created now well-being for a variety of people. We are beginning to see the signs of recovery out of Europe. I think most European operations and people who run businesses in Europe recognize that we have seen probably the best times now since 2007. And so we're now developing a sense of comfort about the fact that the worst is behind us and that the future is going to remain in this sort of positive framework for a long period of time. And I can tell you there's at least two things that keep me up nights. The first one is Randy and the fact that he wants gain share. And that's, and he's just repeating something that his CEO has publicly stated on a global scale, so I do take this position seriously. But the other thing is that I think we're all underestimating the impact that both regulation and competition is going to have on this very apparently feeble equilibrium that we have found in the marketplace. I had the opportunity to speak to the capital markets about 3 weeks ago, and I titled my presentations Confessions of a Capital Junkie. And I did this for a very simple reason. I took the full blame and I did these as my confessions, as somebody who's been operating in the sector now for a number of years, and who throughout this period has not been able to answer one simple question as to whether we have been able to provide returns to our capital providers, which is in excess to the cost of that capital. And as I had a chance to take a look at the historical trend, the track record of all of us in this business, and I found that with very few exceptions, most of us have not been able to meet that target. And so with the kind of sort of ingenuity and the same stuff that's sitting, I think, somewhere here where it says my aha moment, I sat back and I said, there's got to be a better way to get this done. There has to be a different paradigm that will try and guide this industry going forward. And so for whatever length of time is involved in this last phase of my career, I intend to devote it in a pretty earnest and very honest way at trying to explore with my colleagues in this automotive industry this new paradigm. And it needs to be found. It needs to be found because the future of this industry depends on the ability to take a look at the future in a completely different way. What we were able to remedy in 2009 and 2010 were the apparent consequences of ill-advised management, and we fixed what was the most obvious deficiency in the structure. It did not deal with the ultimate long-term stability of this industry. We as CEOs, and I are blessed in a lot of ways. Today, for your information, was a bad engineering day for me. I made a decision when I came to Chrysler back in '09 that I would not move into the infamous tower, and that I would move my office with the engineers, which I've done. And so I spend a lot of time with the engineering staff, with the engineering leadership, to try and develop the portfolio and the type of cars that will drive the business going forward. But today was a bad day. I think we've had a number of leadership mishaps on the engineering side, which are collectively us a lot of concerns. But one of the things that happens when you take on these responsibilities is that you get a phenomenal opportunity to touch people's lives and to change them. I had an opportunity to speak to, and I forget his name, the first one I read tonight, but I had a chance to meet his daughter, who has been a Fiat Chrysler executive now for 19 years. And the experiences that our people have had, and I'm sure other people in the automotive industry have had in the last 6 years, has drastically changed their lives. And the proper exercise of leadership as a CEO, as any other leader, is to fundamentally change people's lives. We have a unique opportunity here in the next 10 years to put together a paradigm that will ensure that we will never, ever have to live through the problems that we lived through in 2009 and 2010. And I know there's a lot of enthusiasm out there about the fact that we really have fixed and put those issues behind us, but the reality is that we haven't. The problems continue, and I think we have failed collectively as an industry to guarantee our own survival. And so, on that rather joyous note, I would like to thank the Foundation for having given me this honor tonight. I'm not sure that I quite deserve it. I do accept it on behalf of the 300,000 people who are not here and who earn every day through their work their ability to create Fiat Chrysler and make it what it is. I'm going to leave you with one quotation, which is the only part of my prepared speech that I like. But it's a passage from Fahrenheit 451, which is a great piece of work in science fiction. But it says, everyone must leave something behind when he dies. My grandfather said, it doesn't matter what you do, he said, so long as you change something from the way it was before you touched it into something that's like you after you take your hands away. The difference between a man who just cuts lawns and a real gardener is in the touching. The lawn cutter might just as well not have been there at all. The gardener will be there for a lifetime. And so I hope that you will look at all the work that the foundation is doing ultimately as a way to make a difference. Thank you all very much.